Well, hello. Today we're going to talk about roofing material, a little bit about application, and I've got a few different varieties around, and we'll talk about what they're good for and maybe links of life and maybe a little bit how they're made. So hang in there and we'll see what we can discover. Well, the first material I have here is a rolled roofing, and I don't know if it's because it comes in a roll, but it does, and basically you roll it out on a roof. It's got this rock here, which helps kind of disperse the raindrops and gives it some rigidity on the outside surface. And then it's got this thick tar on the backside, which gives it basically its impermeable surface that water can't get through. And it's basically, like I said, rolled out on a roof. You start at the bottom, and you work your way from your bottom to your top of your roof as far as installation. Use roofing nails, which is a little bigger head, and you generally cover all seams. And with the seams, you also use some sort of a wet patch or some sort of a tar, and you can buy it in a caulking size, or you can buy it in a gallon and kind of spread it on. And so all of your seams and all of your nail heads will get addressed with this this product here to keep it, again, impermeable as far as water goes. And life of this material, if it's a flat roof, maybe 10 years. I've seen it last 10 years, depending. And if you get the steeper the grade, the longer it'll last. So it's probably the cheapest material and easiest to install. And underneath there'll be a felt paper as well, which I'll show you here next. And so, for the money, it's a good thing. As far as installation time-wise, it's a good thing too. So I highly advise it under certain circumstances. Well, the next thing I have here for you is an asphalt shingle, and it's one continuous shingle. It's a lot like the rolled roofing, with the exception that it's got adhesive on the top edge as well as the under bottom edge, so it kind of sticks itself down when the sun hits it. And basically all these materials are best put on with sun, because it kind of, as far as asphalt goes, because it kind of loosens it up and makes it not so brittle. I was hoping to show you a 3-tab shingle, which is basically divided into thirds, but I didn't have that. And this is a little better quality because it's thicker, and generally on the roof thicker is better, as long as it doesn't weigh too much. But again, we're going to hide seams. We're going to start at the bottom and work up and stagger our seams. And as far as at the top, we may have some exposed nails. We'll have to use some roof patch or some tar there. And then the life of this one, it's constructed pretty much the same as far as the back and the top. But the life of this one's going to be longer. So you're looking at, maybe if it's a 6 and 12 roof, you might go a good 25 years if installation is done correctly. So we're stepping up as far as quality and expense and labor as far as installation. And then maybe a little better look too. It's got a little more going on as far as how it's been manufactured as opposed to the rolled roofing. So good product. Well, next we have a corrugated metal roofing, and it comes in 27-inch widths, so you can span 24 inches, and it'll come in 8-foot lengths, maybe 10-foot lengths, 12-foot lengths, depending. You see it commonly on barn roofs. However, I've used it on exterior, and I've used it interior. It's a good surface. It is galvanized, so it won't rust. And again, you start at the bottom and you work to the top, and you overlay your seams so that you don't have any water. I had a roofer once tell me, you got to think like water when you're installing this stuff. And so thinking like water can do a lot of things, especially when you throw in the wind. So installed generally with a screw and a rubber grommet there at the top. Sometimes you might see a ring shank nail, again with a rubber grommet. and these are generally aluminum or some sort of galvanized coating. Good material, pretty easy to install, and you get a lot of bang for your buck with this stuff. And then lastly, we've got a standing seam metal roofing, and this is sort of the cream of the crop here. It's kind of neat. They show up and they've got this truck that will roll this out in this shape, and the metal starts off in a roll, kind of like a toilet paper roll, and then it comes out of the back of the truck after going through these series of rollers and produces this contour. And the standing seam means that this edge is going to lock into this edge and hide this seam. This seam is where you screw it down, where these holes are, and so basically there's no screws exposed except for the bottom edge. The top edge gets a ridge cap, and it covers those seams. They will use the same type of screw for that, with the little rubber grommet at the top. And this is supposedly lifetime, so you pay big bucks for this, but you don't ever have to worry about it again. And it's it's metal, and it's got a color to it, which I really like as far as how it adds to the look of the home. And it also, as opposed to galvanized, it's got a color, but it's not going to rust, so it's a good material. And little harder to install, definitely more expensive, but in the long run you may never have to worry about it again. So if you've got the bucks, go for this. Well, under all those materials that we just spoke about is this material. So this goes on over your sheathing under your roofing, and this is called a felt paper or a tar paper. Comes in a couple different thicknesses, 30 mil, 60 mil, and depending on the grade of your roof or material on top of this will dictate what thickness you will use. And so this goes down, again, overlaying each seam, and this will be stapled off. So you'll staple this down to the sheathing. Well, in general, roofing is hard work, and you're working off the ground, so you've got some elevation there. You're generally working on an angle and a pitch. You're generally working bent over, so your knees get sore and your back gets sore. Heavy material, lots of tar, so heavy material, but it is important because that's what keeps our homes dry. And anytime you let water in, you've got damage, you've got insects, you've got mold, and so it's important to use the proper material, proper installation, and to do a good job. Take your time, do a good job on your roofing so that it doesn't come back and bite you later and create more work. So hope you've enjoyed our segment today. Roofing doesn't seem too exciting. Lots of work out there. Everybody needs a new roof, unless you've got a metal roof with a standing seam, and then you're good for life, hopefully. So take care, stay dry.